There's three line out in New Jersey with the Blue Oyster Cult. Lou?
Carol, my ears are ringing, but yes, we are on the on the air right now, live on WPLJ, and I'll tell you, one of the backstage people here at John Shear's Capitol Theater told me Blue Oyster Cult hit 125 decibels tonight, and it's probably true because I haven't heard my ears ring like this since Richie Blackmore played Radio City Music Hall. That was 3, 4, 5 years ago. I'll tell you, the Blue Oyster Cult were in fine form tonight. This is a band that's paid their dues. They've been around for well over a decade. We told you a little bit about their background last week when we caught them at the Nassau Coliseum about the fact that they're from Long Island and they came from State University out at Stony Brook and had various names, Soft White Underbelly and Stalk Forest Group. But in 1972, the Blue Oyster Cult was formed as far as being an official band without any more personnel changes or anything like that. And the band's first album, Blue Oyster Cult, was greeted with very, very high critical acclaim. Certainly it's obvious that Agents of Fortune, an album a few years old, that yielded Don't Fear the Reaper, the biggest hit the Cult has ever had, is their best-known record. But I think it would be a shame if Blue Oyster Cult got tabbed a one-song group because there's definitely not that. They have so much talent in this band, and I just say to anybody listening, when the Cult gets to your town, make it your point, make it your business to get out and see them because this band is hot. They consist of Eric Bloom, who's standing by to talk with us live on WPLJ, who is the lead vocalist and plays guitar and does so many things on stage, plays keyboards, works a lot of things into the set, and Albert Bouchard and his brother Joe Bouchard, Alan Lanier and Donald Buck Dharma-Roser. The Cult, what can you really say? It's heavy metal right from the get-go. And Eric Bloom, congratulations on a beautiful show. Welcome to WPLJ.
Always glad to be in the Big Apple, even though we're in New Jersey.
Okay. Well, we are in New Jersey, but it's just like one big area as far as we're concerned. I want to ask you this. We covered the show at the Nassau Coliseum last week, and I would say the band took a bit more time to get warmed up at the Coliseum. Once you started rolling, things started to smoke. It seemed tonight it was there right from the beginning, and the obvious question is, how does the intimate audience, the small hall, figure into that situation?
Every night is different. Every night is different. No matter 50,000-seater, and like we did last July in San Diego, or we played the Bottom Line, you know, from big to small, every show is a little different. We don't go out consciously to play any different any particular night, like to try to project more to 50,000 rather than to be intimate in a place like the Capitol Theater. We just go out and, you know, we just play hard, and it's more of the audience that is different rather than us, to tell you the truth.
Now, the other night you did Slow Down in the set, in one of the encores in numbers. And I know you rode your Harley Davidson on stage also during that show. Tonight, Slow Down was not performed and no Harley Davidson. How did you come by that motorcycle? I know it's an interesting story. It's a lowrider 80. Am I right on that?
Yeah, it's 1980. The first 1980 Harley Davidson delivered in the United States, and I got it. 80 cubic inch. It's quite a nice machine. And Harley Davidson was quite glad to let me use it for as long as I deemed I should have it. I'll just put it that way, promotional purposes. And there's, in my mind, you know, I have my choice of just about any bike in the world. I took what I thought would sort of be the best. It is made in the United States, first of all.
Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And it's the only motorcycle made in the United States other than little dinky bikes. So, you know, I have several T-shirts that I got from all over the whole country from different Harley dealers, some of which have a few aphorisms or euphemisms. For one says Suzuki, Honda, Kawasaki, brought to you by the country that brought you World War II. You know, things like that. But you know, on the 8th day, God made Harley Davidson, stuff like that, little different lines and everything. I like the Harley. It's one of the best bikes I've had over the years, and it sure looks nice on stage, and that's why I have it.
It's a stunning effect. I've never seen anything like it. I remember back in the 60s when Murray the K did the rock shows, and he'd ride the motorcycle right on stage for the leader of the pack with the Shangri-Las. Eric, to digress, during one of the songs you said when you completed it, now it's officially tune-up time, and you came out with a guitar that I've never seen anything the likes of. I thought it was a Gibson that had been modified. You told me just a moment before it was a custom-made guitar, but the guitar is cast in the symbol that the Blue Oyster Cult uses as their trademark, more or less. Please tell us about this.
You know, I just call it the logo guitar because it's in the shape of the Blue Oyster Cult logo, which is like a cross with a hook on the bottom, like an exclamation point on top and a backwards Spanish upside-down question mark on the bottom. People have called it the bent propeller. They've called it all kinds of different things over the years. But it is the cult symbol, and I had the guitar made. Matter of fact, I'm talking to you from Passaic here, and it was made in a music store quite nearby, Pastore Music in Union, New Jersey. And a gentleman there by the name of Ronaldo is a custom guitar worker and maker. He made that guitar from scratch to my specifications. It's the second one he's made for me. The first one he made was like prototype that had some balance problems. So to fix the balance problems, I had to put some lead in one of the parts of the guitar to balance it off. So I made it like 25 pounds or something. So we gave that one away in a contest, and somebody out in a bar band in San Jose won it. And the second one is a really quite quality guitar, and Ronaldo did a terrific job. And it's the, pardon the expression, the Eric Bloom model.
Well, Eric, I know Carol Miller's got a question for you, but before I turn you over to Carol, which I would love to be turned over, by the way, I want to ask you this. Personally, in your earlier years, when you were a young, hungry, on-the-way-up musician, who were some of the people that you really looked to for musical roots and musical heroes for you? Who were some of the people that really made it happen for Eric Bloom?
Well, it depends how far you want to go back. I mean, I don't know. What are your demographics these days? I don't know. Where do you want to start? I go back to I started listening to the radio, and that's how I got into music back in the 50s. I used to listen to Alan Freed on WABC. I used to be a big fan of Peter Tripp, the curly-headed kid in the third row on WMGM, which is now WHN. I used to listen to WINS when it was rock and roll. And back MCA, there was 4 or 5 rock stations in the early days. This was AM radio in the late 50s, and I think New York is a little poorer because of that. I think that most of those stations have folded or changed to news format or C&W. But there was so much rock and roll going on in New York in the late 50s, and that's where I really got into music. And I grew up in Queens, and that was how I got interested in rock and roll in the first place. I really started wanting to play and wanting to get into the music business originally with the vocal groups of the late 50s, the early R&B, shall we say, and from then on, I guess my real mental expansion of what I really wanted to do came with the English invasion in the early 60s. And although I'd been playing for a little bit in 62 and 63, when the Beatles and the Stones and the Kinks and all that thing came in the early 60s, that's when I really got like an inner urge to really be a professional. That's really where it happened. I guess the Beatles were my main thing in those days, the Beatles and the Stones especially.
For so many of us, too.
Yeah, for everybody in our generation, I guess. Carol.
How you doing, Eric?
Okay.
Did you have a nice weekend?
I have to play every day.
Oh, no weekend.
This is our 13th show in 14 days.
Wow. Listen, what part of Queens are you from?
Excuse me?
What part of Queens were you from?
I grew up in Jamaica.
Ah, I'm originally from Kew Gardens.
All right, I lived there for a while, too. Moved from Jamaica to Kew Gardens.
Oh, yeah? Well, probably
right across from the courthouse.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know real well. Listen, I thought of a question for you. You're one of the groups, Blue Oyster Cult's one of the groups that has been really successful with touring, and nowadays we're kind of hearing a lot of things about the economy affecting groups on tour. Places may not be sold out, like Fleetwood Mac didn't sell out completely around here. Has this kind of thing, people not being able to get gas and just the economy in general, has that affected your touring at all? Do you see that on your tours?
Well, at certain parts of the country, I would say yes. There has been a bit of recession in the music business in general this past year, but especially, I'd say more in record sales than in touring. But we have done just a tremendous, I can't complain. This has been the best year in the history of the band by more than double compared to any other year. And like I said before, we played... we sold out every show from Seattle to San Diego on the West Coast, and just a tremendous business. We just sold out New Haven, twice sold out the Coliseum in the last 6 months. Things like that, sold out in Boston at the Gardens. And when it comes to all that kind of thing, that's up between the promoter and management and stuff, and we're not too exposed to that kind of thing.
I see. Because I know a lot of the big groups are just charging so much money that I thought that might contribute to them not selling out.
We're a people's band, We remember what it was like, We used to try and get the rock concerts ourselves, I was there when the Fillmore was burning and the Who kept playing.
Yeah.
You know? Way back, we were playing the Electric Circus 4 blocks away from the Fillmore, and we went to see the Who between our sets. You know, that kind of thing. You know, we're real rock fans, and we would never price ourselves out of our fans being able to come.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Listen, thank you very much, Eric. And I think,
I'll put Lou back here.
yeah, and good luck on the rest of the tour.
I want to ask you 2 quick wrap-up questions. The first is a simple one. When are you coming to Madison Square Garden so you can blow away New York City?
That's up to New York City and New York City radio stations.
Okay, the second question is this. We're talking with Eric Bloom, lead singer, rhythm guitarist, very extraordinary talent for the Blue Oyster Cult. The man does everything. He has so much versatility. It's incredible. Last and final question. I understand you were in Cincinnati, in Providence a few weeks ago, 3-4 nights ago, not even a few weeks ago, and there was a situation with the Who and some songs that you performed for the Who. Tell us about it on WPLJ.
Well, it's just a little aside that I think is kind of interesting. When the Who had the big problem in Cincinnati with the kids dying on the way into the concert, needless to say, the Who took a lot of flack all over the whole country. And even though personally I don't feel they really have any responsibility for that, the city fathers of Providence said the Who could not play in Providence. This is after the show was sold out to the maximum, like every Who show is. And needless to say, all the kids who bought tickets in advance were just, you know, not very happy about it. So that was a few months ago. So we, out of respect, you know, to all the kids who bought those tickets, and respect to the Who, some of our favorite, have always played some of our favorite music. We played for the encore. We played Substitute in My Generation, and it made the kids stand upside down and jumping crazy. So we just played last night in Poughkeepsie and recorded for King Biscuit, and we did do those songs for the recording. We hope maybe when the King Biscuit runs that it'll be on it.
Well, we certainly hope so. And Eric Bloom, it's such a pleasure to talk to you. I know we did a longer review than we usually do, but it really was a pleasure, and we want to wish you the very best of luck wherever the cult goes and whatever you guys get into, the best.
Thanks, Lou.
Okay, Carol, that's the scene live from John Shear's Capitol Theater. Again, a very personal thank you to all the people at the Capitol for helping us and making the evening such a pleasant one. So we'll be back on Thursday night with the Romantics live from the Bottom Line. And until then, this is Lou O'Neill Jr. of Circus Magazine throwing it back to Carol Miller and WPLJ.
Oh, I just caught it here. It's WPLJ with a cut from the Blue Oyster Cult.